there's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Cantonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. New racing seasons always feel so right when they kick off on the high banks of Daytona, palm trees swaying, and ocean breeze providing some comfort from the Florida sun. These drivers aren't feeling any of that today, though. It's all sim racing as the All-American Racing League opens up the 2026 season, brought to you by the Bully Dog Coffee Company. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and welcome to the virtual Daytona Beach, Florida. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I was supposed to have Zach Murtis here this evening, but I'll be honest, it is an early morning on a Sunday morning. North Carolina just got a bunch of snow. I know he's located out towards Raleigh. I bet he was up late playing in the snow, building a snowman, and all that good stuff. I think he might have slept in on us this afternoon, but this morning, not this afternoon, but that's okay. We will have a broadcast nonetheless. I'm glad to be here on a Sunday morning. We don't have a terrible amount to talk about. It's really just a matter of getting into the sim here in a moment, but we will take a look at the Daytona International Speedway as pictured here with the track map. You can see the road course and stuff that the Rolex 24 just ran on for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. That is none of our concern today. We are just worried about the blue line. That is the Daytona Tri-Oval, all four corners, and the fifth, if you will, at the front stretch of this Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. We can take a brief look here at the schedule for 2026. We will revisit this, so don't worry if you don't see it all right now. That is okay. Races are about 50% of the NASCAR Cup Series, give or take. Some are a little bit longer, I think. Some are a little bit shorter, but it's right around 50%, 50 to 80% race fuel fixed setups out there for the full season. We have cars headed straight to the grid and actually beginning to roll off of the starting grid. So let's go ahead and get into the iRacing.com sim just like that. And we can go ahead and roll down through your ATVO starting grid. On pole, how about driver number 22 going to lead us to the green? He is the newest of all drivers in this league to iRacing as a whole. It'll be Michael Alley leading us to the green flag today at Daytona. Zach King to his outside. Starting third place, how about Clifford Allison in the number 7, Corey Powell in the number 92. Sean Hughes from 5th place, it'll be Brian White in 6th. Back in 7th and 8th, Justin Young and Jonathan Reddick. And to complete your top 10, Austin Adams and Chris Etchapar. Back in row number 6, Mark Bender, Ricky Langton. It's going to be Gregory Van Nice in the 13th spot, Christopher Foote in 14th. Back in 25th, Douglas Scalise alongside Adam Ramsey. 17th spot, Chris Perry at the 34. It'll be Chris Fainer in the 23 and 18th spot. Mark Helsel in 19th and Chad Fox in 20th. Back to 21st, Michael Rovillo in the number 2 alongside Justin Lanier. Lloyd Moore, Robert Hissong there in row number 12. Back to row number 13, Matt Opplinger and Kevin Bullock. Tony Krieger at 27th. It's going to be double checking. Casey Gross. There's a W at the beginning of his name, but Casey Gross in the number 77 and 28th, and Elijah Malpin in 29th. We're about to get racing here this morning, but not before we take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details. This is a 100-lap race, 250 miles, 3 change sets, 65% fuel. Cautions will count. 3 green-white checkers are available. Fixed setup, no fast fix. Just like that, the All-American Racing League season set to begin. Daytona International Speedway. Pull your belts tight one more time. Green flag is out at Daytona. And we're already crashing a crash in the Tri-Oval. Gonna halt us immediately. Caution is out. A handful of drivers involved. Douglas Scalise is one of them. Casey Gross seems to be another. Michael Rovillo is in the pit lane. Unsure as to why. There's some damage on the 23 of Chris Fainer. And oh my gosh, the alarm clock. The alarm clock finally went off for Zach Murtis. The alarm clock has finally gone off for Zach Murtis. He has joined the Discord call. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. We've got a crash already.
Yeah, no, my phone died. alarm never went off in the morning. So missed a little bit of the show, but hey, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm ready to roll.
Well, Zach, you didn't miss much. Literally just us coming to the green and then immediately having a halt of action. I'm not really sure what happened yet. We're trying to find out. Somebody tried to get going, and it did not work out. It looks like the 8 car initially had problems there. We'll go back and get a better look at this. So the 8 is going to be row number 4. That's Jonathan Reddick. He's the blue and yellow Wrangler number 8 on the outside of row 4. The car ahead of him didn't go anywhere. It was a Monster Energy Toyota. I'm not sure of the number just yet. The number on that is the 18, it looks like. Yes, it is. So here's a look at it into the restart zone. Watch the number 18 first. That's Brian White. Then the number 8. So 18 goes nowhere. The 8 gets checked up and hit and run over by a couple of different cars, and they all just come piling in. And, you know, Zach, we've each been in this situation before. When you're just trying to get the race started, the season started, and somebody doesn't hit the gas pedal right away or misses a shift or something, it's just going to doom the whole field. No matter what you try and do, when you have this kind of thing play out, it's just never going to end well.
It's just the accordion effect. It tends to happen sometimes on these restarts. We don't just see it at Daytona either. We've seen it at the short tracks. We've seen it at the intermediates. We've seen it at the road courses. It's always something you have to watch out for. Never want to start a season that way. But hey, everyone's going to get back rolling. We're going to get back on this racetrack, and we're going to send them back green. I mean, that's the only thing you can do, really, is just pick up the pieces and move on.
See the onboard there for Douglas Scalis in the number 16 going through the grass after getting turned. And from the very back of the field, I want to see this from the 66 of, I believe that's Casey Gross. No, Elijah Maupin here in the 66 machine. Here's his view of everybody going plumb wild. It's like a rush to the bread or the milk aisle at your local North Carolina Food Line right now. The field has continued on, of course, under caution, that is, but we do already have one driver in the wave-around position. That's the number 2. And it looked like he was starting from the pit lane, maybe. But Michael Ravillo from Dirtport Racing has found himself at the very front of this field. Albeit 1 lap down. He should get the wave around right here to catch back up. He's technically on a lead lap, and this lap by the pace car will help him stay that way. There goes Michael. I mentioned the schedule. We can take a look back at it here quickly while these guys are under caution. This is a pretty well conformed, what you would expect for a NASCAR league for the most part. There are a couple of deviations. We will not be going to Coda. Instead, it will be Dover in round number 3. Also, I don't know if Doug meant to do this, and so maybe when he goes back and listens to this, he will realize. But I was looking over the schedule making this graphic, and the All-Star race is labeled to be at Dover in July. That'd be race number 20. But it's labeled as a regular season round. So I'm not really sure on that just yet. I think we'll get more clarification on that by round number 2 at Atlanta. But that was just a small thing I noticed. There are some other deviations across the schedule, I believe. Maybe not, actually. I think it's just about the NASCAR schedule, Zach. Yeah, it looks
pretty straightforward.
It does.
Just
Watkins Glen has moved up to round 12 there just after Texas. I know he moved some weeks around a little bit to provide some off weeks, you know, in the summer and whatnot, but for the most part, the actual list of tracks is just about the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. That extra points round at Dover in the spring for round 3 is a little bit different. But that is about it. Well, as we get ready to go back racing here, or at least try to get racing for the first time today, let's settle back down, hold the belts tight one more time. It'll be lap 5. We don't have any stages to worry about, so lap 5 coming up for our first real attempt at a green flag. And so far, we've made it past pit exit. That is a beautiful sight. Zach King going to take over the race lead into turn number 1. The field is a little bit disjointed. You're seeing that already, Zach. So as we kind of sit back off the mic for a moment and let these guys come up through the gears, we're going to see them all over the place.
Daytona is going to give some interesting situations, and one interesting... Oh my goodness. One interesting situation is already taking fold. We have got the leader of the race right now, Zach King, pitting this time. He's going to be serving a drive-through penalty.
Oh boy. Do we know what for?
Not seeing what for, just seeing that the 51 has a black flag.
So Zach King...
He was on the outside, wasn't he?
He may have jumped the restart.
That's what I'm thinking here. The restart rule is in effect for these drivers, meaning they have to go in the confines of the restart zone, meaning between the white lines, and should they fire before the leader fires, then that would constitute a black flag for jumping the restart. So that's potentially what's going on with the 51 of Zach King, but out in front, Allie in that 22 is going to take over that race lead.
This is a very different start to a Daytona race. We didn't have that kind of chaotic 2-3 wide right away off the green flag. Since we had that caution coming to the start, I think it scared everybody. And the start we just had was very disjointed, very spread out, and it's already got these guys into kind of a green flag running formation. As you see the number 8 of Jonathan Reddick go a second lap down. He is the only car currently lapped at all. But this is not at all how a typical NASCAR Cup race would look at Daytona on just lap 7, or at least certainly not on lap 3 of truly going green flag. This is very, very abnormal.
Abnormal, you say? We've got how many inches of snow in North Carolina? I think we're well past abnormal this weekend.
We might talk about the snow another time or two. I'm sure a lot of these northerners, like some of the guys, there's a handful of them all from West Hampton, New Jersey. Definitely some real life friends that probably go to the bar after and talk about these races. But I'm sure they're used to it. Down here in North Carolina, North Kakalaki's not quite used to it just yet. But yeah, record-breaking snow across the Carolinas and into eastern Virginia. But about the race here, everything is warming up on the racetrack. And if we look at the weather conditions, I mean, 68 degrees in the air, 78 on track. Nice little segue in. This is a pretty comfortable race. I mean, it's set to February 1st in sim. Nothing too crazy. I do think we might see these guys change a couple more tires than maybe you expect. At least I would. The track temp isn't really that high, Zach, but I don't know. I think people are starting to realize that even when you do a fuel stop, you can get at least 2 tires pretty easily, and it helps you make maneuvers later on in the race. As we're taking a look at the entire lead pack, 18 cars through this lead pack, just very strung out. I mean, there they are at the beginning of this pack. Here they are at the back end of this pack, very strung out, all single file. We go on board with Christopher Foote. You can kind of see that here from the Nora number 21.
Yeah, and keep in mind, these guys have 5 change sets, technically 4 at the end of the day, because they've got 1 bolted on the car right now, so 4 change sets over the course of 100 laps. That is about a set of tires every 25 laps should they want to use it, but with being at Daytona, it's not really something you're always concerned with. The tires can usually last quite a while in terms of a run, but now you're starting to see a little bit of spacing out now. We're seeing some 4-car packs, some 3-car packs. and then a little bit bigger of a pack forming behind these guys, but the leaders are kind of starting to get out and away a little bit. And I mean, it's like you said, Andrew, they're settling into a run. They're trying to find their rhythm at the moment and really give themselves that opportunity to run some laps rather than get all pushed together, I'll say. Ooh, I should say the catchphrase.
Don't push the pusher.
Don't push the pusher.
So, I do want to take a segue briefly, kind of a side point, a tangent, if you will. When I was setting up the number graphics for all these drivers in this league, every one that you see on the left side of your screen there in the ticker, I've got to create each one of those. And they get bound to each driver's position on the ticker and graphics and whatnot by the driver ID. And the driver ID is set by when these guys sign up for iRacing. And it's interesting, you know, when I do these, I always notice certain things. Like this league had a lot of newer drivers. It's a unique set of digits. It used to be 5 digits, then eventually they needed 6 digits, and eventually, more recently, they've needed 7. iRacing has. And I mean, my driver ID on iRacing, for example, is 242560. But I got on iRacing back in July of 2016. So some of these guys are up into the 7-digit territory, 1, 3, whatever, with 5 more digits to follow. And it's
341730.
It's over, I guess it's 1 million members after, I guess is the way that works out, after me. One thing I noticed though, Michael Alley, I said it on the grid, Michael Alley has the highest of those numbers, indicating that he is the newest member to iRacing in this entire field, in this entire league. So he is the newest to iRacing. He's out here, he qualified on pole, and he's leading these guys at Daytona, and he's got some other newer members around him. Look around in the license category of this right now, Zach. Allie's got a D-Class license. Justin Young in 3rd has a D-Class license. Corey Powell in 4th has a D-Class license. Austin Adams in 6th has a D-Class license. I'm not trying to out any of these guys. I'm just saying, they are indicated to be newer to iRacing, and they are doing a fantastic job so far keeping things clean, getting into a single file situation like this, and just starting to log some laps. It's hard to find that sometimes on iRacing. You get a lot of leagues, a lot of guys that just want to go racing 2-3 wide every single lap and crash, and they don't really ever prioritize trying to get laps in. But so far, these guys, they're all spread out, so it might be a slightly less exciting beginning to this race, but give it some time. I think these guys will come around and put on a show as Zach King will go a lap down in car 51. There he is. Zach, you mentioned an issue on the restart potentially is what caused this this penalty for Zach. He has just pulled in behind his new teammate of Corey Powell. Of course, we know Zach from the BRB Sundance Pro Series. While he's no longer over there, he does, or he has at least brought over his team, Meatball Motorsports, and they have added a driver or two to the roster, such as the driver directly in front of Zach, and that is going to be, again, Corey Powell in the number 92. He's got a very unique paint scheme, that's for sure. It's definitely, it's out there.
That it is.
You're just
I
waking up.
missed the show, didn't I? Yeah, no, I'm just waking up.
Oh,
Look, man, my phone died, and then I apparently had water in my charging port, so I couldn't charge my phone. So I looked on my tablet, I saw what time it was, and I'm like, oh, Andrew's probably been calling me.
Yeah, there were a couple of call attempts. A couple. One car has just, well, one car it seems is having some connection difficulties. That would be the 21 of Christopher Foote. Maybe a couple of cars out there having some blinks, and we're starting to get some 2-wide racing for the first time.
The top line.
Yeah, really the first time all race. Look at the outside lane. That's the 27 out there of Austin Adams. He's going to bring what I believe is the 97 of Adam Ramsey. It is. I see some Ramsey fans out there. He's starting to get going. He's got some damage to the front of his car, but that's okay. He is tucked in behind the 27 Ford Mustang, and he is getting that outside lane going. It's also got Powell and King up there. And these guys, they're on 65% fuel. So they're not going to be able to go the full distance that we would expect for NASCAR Cup cars, you know, somewhere about 38 laps. These guys are going to be limited. I mean, if you punch in just 65% of 38 as a rough number, that gives you about 25. They did have those caution laps, and if these guys were being, well, they're crashing. Corey Powell, one of them.
Spinning down below the line.
That was Casey Gross down there spinning.
Big impact to the inside wall, and that is more than likely going to be a tow for Corey Powell in the 92.
It is.
Big impact right there.
No caution for any of this.
As iRacing deems it, a caution is necessitated if a wreck happens on the racing surface. Well, the wreck started on the racing surface, but it did not finish there. You see Powell in front of Zach King, who is currently one lap down. He just comes down and hits the car on the inside line.
The most classic of cases of not clear. I will say, down the backstretch, you can see there, right there, you can kind of see the tail end of him getting shuffled. That was the 92 of Powell getting pushed by his teammate King, and it got him loose, and then Powell tried to go low. That caught the 34, and the 34, well, kind of ricocheted him back. So the Carolina Panthers machine of Chris Perry, I wonder how snowed in he is today.
Doesn't that just sum up the Panther season?
The last 20, I feel like, aside from 2015. Here's the look at things again. Powell's just going to shoot low right there, down into the 34. That brings them both at the racetrack. Gross. AC Gross, I'm not really sure how he ended up spinning, actually. I think he just got on the binders, and it kicked it sideways.
I think he didn't want to throw it back up onto the racetrack, and he just locked it down for a moment. This is riding on board with Gross in the 77. There you see Powell. And he had the bump.
He did. The many bumps down there from iRacing replicating the removal of the grass down there on the inside of turn 3, or at least the backstretch into turn 3. There are some bumps, and that will certainly spin you out. Well, we continue on, no caution. And the front of the field has gotten much smaller, about 12 cars now in this group, from Michael Alley down through Christopher Foote. And they have a gap back to Elijah Maupin and Tony Krieger, another gap back to Lloyd Moore and Matt Opplinger at the beginning of our kind of tail end. Lloyd Moore, Matt Opplinger, Kevin Bullock, Robert Hissong, Gregory Van Nice, Douglas Scalise, Casey Gross fell back into this group, Justin Lanier's back here, Chris Fainer, Ricky Langton Jr., they all sit back here. Zach King, by the way, he is actually with your leaders still. You see him getting a push by the 33 car. So King trying to get a lap back the hard way. Yes. He's trying to move ahead of these guys in case we get a caution to try and automatically be back on the lead lap rather than rely on a lucky dog.
Ooh.
That was a move up there from the 20 of Young.
Yeah, that was close. Stays in line. Now Zach King is going to lead that top line up to and next to the third place car. A little wiggly right there. Got to stay in line, guys. Got to make sure we are holding steady on that rear bumper, because even just a slight tap on the left rear or the right rear can really upset these cars. And it's common for really any type of super speedway racing. We've seen it in the NASCAR Next Gen car, the NASCAR O'Reilly Series car, the Truck Series, and even in the ARCA Series. If you push ever so slightly and disturb that air or disturb the weight transfer of the race car, it's just going to send you around.
Zach King has pushed himself ahead of race leader Michael Alley with help of the 33, and they are going backwards. This bottom lane falling back in a hurry. King is disrupting these leaders for sure just by being up there, because he wanted to go forward and get his lap back. Now the 33 of Bender gets out ahead of the field and brings Adams with him, and that puts King back one lap down and shuffles Alley out of the lead for the first time today. And look at this, the 8 car of Reddick about to go another lap down.
This is going to get interesting here. Lap car's going to stay on the yellow line.
That was tricky.
Oh, 3 wide. That was really close. The bottom line has broken up now. Let the lap car in line. Zach King is going to go ahead and get back on the lead lap now, but it's only going to last for so long as the outside line keeps the momentum. There's a little bit of contact. They're trying to square up, and they're all going to make it through.
Hold your breath.
That was a big hold your breath moment.
Not only are these guys having this racing right now, but if it is truly a 65% fuel load, Zach, these guys are coming up quickly on pit stops. Again, the number per my quick math is about 25 laps. I would guess about 27 since they had the caution. I don't think they make it to 30 without having to pit.
You might be right, actually.
That is, as long as the fuel is set correctly. Unfortunately, I'm not able to check live on broadcast, but we will learn very quickly what the situation truly is, and it's always interesting how quickly we can pick up on exactly what these guys are doing and need to do the rest of the race, and this will give us an idea of exactly how far they can go the rest of the race. And with no stages today, it'll also, of course, give us an idea of how the rest of the race might break down if we do go green, and it's looking like it could. By the way, Chris Perry did get back on the racetrack. There he is in the number 34, a resident Carolina Panther fan. He's back on the racetrack. He is 5 laps down. Jonathan Reddick is now 28th, 4 laps down. Corey Powell is 27th. There he is, 2 laps down. Micah Rovillo has just pitted. So he had to pit a little bit early here. And he is not alone. A couple other cars in the pit lane. I'm trying to find who they are. Michael Alley, actually, and Justin Young. A couple of leaders in the pit lane. Really early, I feel. Well, maybe not early. Maybe a lap or two early. But you know what? Alley was leading the race, Zach. He couldn't save. So here he is now, maybe a little bit earlier. We might see the rest of the field coming this time or next time. And they are all single file, so it looks like it could be this time.
Hearing a lot of people calling out to the pit lane, and there they go. Ducking on in. Only 2 cars, though.
Some
Just
contact.
2.
Foot got into the back end there of Vichapar.
And looking through, I'm not seeing any black flags for anybody yet. So it looks like we are still okay in terms of pit road speed limit and making it down. I will say for Etchpar, I
just want to say, for the last name, if anybody is out there watching from Mesa, Arizona, or knows Chris, let us know if that pronunciation is correct. I pride myself in getting names right. Usually I can do so pretty decently. This is one I've not seen before. I'm not really sure how to approach it other than Etchapar or Etchapair. I'm not really sure, but leaders should come in this time. What was your note there on the 88?
Just going to say, I love the throwback to Brad Keselowski in the Nationwide Series. Oh, we got 1 car missing the pit lane. That's Adams. And that's not going to work.
Zach King has just spun around.
Zach King is spun.
That was Sean Hughes way out wide, missing the pit entry. Zach King then also missed it and spun around. So he shoots himself in the foot there.
Black flag for Brian White for Zach King. Oh my goodness.
Let's see this run to the pit lane here for the 75 of Sean Hughes. He's way out there. He just got on the brakes a little bit late behind the 18 there and missed the cone entirely. I don't know what he should have done, honestly, Zach. Once you've missed it that bad, I almost feel like you should go around again, but if you don't have the fuel, you don't have the fuel.
He's more than likely going to have to take a black flag for an unsafe entry, which I'm not even seeing on the race control board at the moment. Just a black flag for White and King.
King just spun it around on entry. He at least got out of the way decently quick. I will give him that. He just mismanages downshifts, and you don't really have wheel hop in these cars because of the independent rear suspension. It's not the solid rear axle that literally would hop around like the older cars, but you can shatter the rears under braking and downshifts, and that's exactly what King did. as we've got a handful of cars that have not yet pitted under green. These guys all pitted under the caution we had earlier, Zach, so they can go a little while longer. And I always like that. Topping off on fuel for cautions for these kinds of races is good, but you have to balance that with trying to stay at the front of the field if possible, or you can easily get left behind if we do go green. And I have a feeling, I recall these guys were further back, so if we do go green the whole way, these guys will still be well behind the leaders, as here they go. Land rush to the pit lane. A whole lot of cars try to find their way to that yellow line, and they will just barely do so.
Everybody makes it in well and okay. No black flags this time around, but they still have to make it to pit exit. So into the box, safe and secure. Oh, he missed the box! No!
That was Lloyd Moore in the double
Moore.
zero. Scaleless
oh,
is
no.
Scaleless is in. Waiting on these guys to exit. Here we go. Here's cars leaving. Uh-oh. The 23, Chris Fainer. I don't think he got the memo about not taking tires.
Uh-oh.
He'll be stuck in the pit lane longer, and he's likely going to be sorted out of the draft. I'm not going to lie, I did that recently myself, as one car's in the wall. The 75 of Hughes just smacked the wall on the backstretch all on his own. But here is our current race leader, Zach. We talked about Chris Etchepar. I'm assuming I'm somewhat close. But we mentioned him pitting. He came out ahead of everybody else, and he's got a lap car ahead. That's the 2 of Rovillo. He's drafting with the 2, and he's 3.5 seconds of the rest of the field. Here's Bender, Foot, and Allison. Then it's another 5 seconds back to Young, Alley, and Fox, and Ramsey. This whole field is completely split up. This, oh boy, this could be a really, really weird race.
Everything's going topsy-turvy at the moment. I'm here for it, though. I am totally here for it. This is kind of what we used to see in the old style of Daytona before the repay, before the Daytona Rising project in 2015. And everything is kind of taking the effect of... Oh, what's the word here? I already called it classic style racing at Daytona, but it's... fewer cars in a pack. Everything's a little bit more spread out. It's taking shape. I like it. I like seeing these guys get spread out because it really now makes them have to think about what kind of strategy they want to play over the course of the race, especially if you're laps down or more.
This is definitely going to be an abnormal kind of day, I think, for these guys. Based on what we've seen so far, this is just a little different as we watch this lead driver here of Etchepar in the number 88. He is ahead right now. He is leading this race. Adams is a lap down, or Hughes rather, right behind him is a lap down. The car ahead of him, Rovillo, is a lap down. And 2 cars behind him, the 18. That is White. He's also a lap down. Now, Rovillo, Hughes, and White are all fighting for the lucky dog position currently. But they are all lapped. These guys are slowly losing time, though, to Mark Bender, Christopher Foot, and everybody else. Second, third, fourth on back. We'll see if we can surely get these guys back together or not. But I do wonder how much the 88 and the 2 are communicating right now. I mean, the 2's first teammate, I believe, is back in 6th. That's the 22 of Alley. Along with, well, even actually the 20 of Young and the, so yeah, 3 teammates right here. They're all back here in this kind of third group, though. So I wonder how much the 88 and 2 are currently communicating to try and stay organized, because that would certainly be in the 88's best interest to keep this lead as long as possible. Also, can we talk about how early it is in Arizona right now? And Chris is on here on iRacing.
8:30?
Yeah, 8:30 in the morning. Hey, that's dedication to the craft. I tip of the cap to him. I gotta see if there's any other West Coasters out here I can tell you when I lived out in Arizona or California, I would not have been on iRacing at 7, 8 in the morning unless it was for an endurance race. So I think naturally as a result, this is a pretty well East Coast based league, but I will say Michael Alley actually is out of Carlsbad, New Mexico. That's going to be mountain time as well, so 8:30 in the morning there as well. And that might be it actually for West Coasters, confirmed West Coasters anyway. And of course New Mexico was a stretch as far as West Coast, but it's mountain time at the very least. I suppose Arizona's probably a stretch as well, but
If I may ask, what makes Carl bad?
well, you see. These cars right behind the 88 are getting broken up. That's going to hurt Chris Echapar, and that's the 78 or 75 rather, and the 18 of Hughes and of White. Them getting disorganized is hurting the race leader, and you can see now that group behind has caught the draft. They are catching up. Bender catching in a hurry.
Things starting to fall into play as the pack is going to group back up, and this is where we need to make sure we don't encounter certain situations of, pushing the pusher, things along those lines. But as the pack starts to group back up, that's going to create situations where these guys are going to be maybe a little bit more racy. As, I think the one thing that should be on their minds now is, now that they're grouped back up, is when they think they're going to make a pit stop again, maybe try to pit with these guys further up so they don't get as disorganized, and just being able to stay together. I think the more cars that you can stay with, the better overall chance you have of being in good contention.
That's interesting. Bender kind of just pulled in line. Didn't really try to go forward at all. I would have thought he would have tried to go as far forward on the outside as possible, try to pass the 88 for the lead. But he really just pulled up behind. The 18 got out of the way, and Bender just pulled in behind Hughes in the 75. So he's not even directly behind the race leader of Echapar, and now you see Zach King on the outside. King now 2 laps down, but he's trying to go as far forward as he can.
He's got a little help. He's got one car rolling up behind him for a push. So 2 cars on the outside line trying to make some hay. King trying to get back to 1 lap down. Hughes is currently 1 lap down. He is behind the leader. And then you've got the 2 car of Rivolo sitting in front of the leader, potentially able to go 1 lap down should Echapar decide that he wants to go around that 2 car. But, I like it. We're kind of settling in here. There's not really too much aggression other than the side drafts from the 51, and we're kind of just rolling. We're not even halfway yet, so I think this is where they just need to settle into the run, really give themselves the space to just vibe. That's the best way to say it. Just vibe with the run.
So I'm looking into Chris's last name here. I believe...
Are you trying to, Google pronounce it for you?
I am. I believe it's going to be something along the lines of Echapara. I believe. Crash!
Oh,
Rovillo into the wall. No caution again. That's Rovillo on the number 2 off the nose of Zach King in the 51. What has happened here? We saw it right there as they were passing pit entry. Watch the number 2. He's already gone a lap down. Teammates to a few other drivers towards the top 10. King tried to go outside, and Rovillo just got up into him. I'm going to be honest, Zach. On both parts here, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why.
Honestly, neither do I.
I don't know why King is going 3 wide, and I don't know why Rovillo came up.
Looking at it from its basic standpoint, I mean, the lane was there, and the 2 car just squeezed King to the wall, but at the same time,
They're both
we don't
lappers.
need to be doing that right now. That's what I'm saying. They're both laps down. The best case scenario for them is to just ride around and, wait for the caution to come out, or try to time the strategy to where you can get those laps back, but there's no point.
It's gonna sound harsh, but they're not fighting for anything right there. I don't know why that just happened. It's just the only thing that happened between them is they harmed their own races further. And I get it, as a lapper, you want to stay in the race, you want to keep racing, you want to make the best of it, but you have to be realistic at the same time, and maybe realize when you should just kind of ride around and log laps. It's not fun to do, but if you want to get through this and you want to see the end of it, sometimes it's necessary, because you can easily beat yourself. And I think that is what just happened between the two at 51, is just two guys that probably didn't need to be doing what they were doing at that point in time. It was a very small, I wouldn't even call it a mistake, just it happened. The 51 had a lane technically on the outside. It was his prerogative to take it, and the two just barely came up too high. I mean, it's part of racing, but it easily could have been avoided, is my point, and now it's going to hurt both of their races moving forward this afternoon. The 21 is blinking. That's Christopher Foote. He's fourth of our 4 leaders that are in this group. That's that pink and black machine. We'll keep an eye on that, but we have changed hands at the race lead. It is now Mark Bender ahead with Clifford Allison in second, Chris Echepara in third, and Christopher Foote is now in the 4th spot. Justin Young, Michael Alley, and Chad Fox, those are those teammates, by the way, to Rovillo that I was talking about. Rovillo has actually gotten in line with them, it looks like, as they now have the 27 of Adams breaking things up there.
Well, Andrew, as much as I love cars on track at Daytona, and the fact that we will have more cars on track at Daytona later this month for the Daytona 500, it does tend to get a little, how you say, slow when they get single file. There's not too much action to call. There's not too much to really go over. I mean, things just kind of fall into line. Everything goes around as it plays out, and you know, we'll pass a couple lap cars here and there. We'll log some laps and get closer to green flag pit stops, and we're here. We're loving it. We're loving the racing.
Well, I can tell you 2 things. The first of those things is that we are about 10 laps from pit stops, roughly, give or take. We may see some guys come in sooner, may see some guys go a little bit longer as one comes into the pit lane here as I'm talking about it. That is Corey Powell in the 92, and he's not alone. He's going to bring Chris Perry in the 34, but there's Powell into the pits. And I bring up the pit stops, Zach, because these guys are going to be a little bit off. Let's see, so if they come in about 10 laps, it'll be about 55. They'll go again to about 80 from there. That does give them some wiggle room as one lap car gets in line ahead of Echepar. That is going to be the 25 of Justin Lanier, breaking up our leaders ever so slightly. I think they can get back together. But to my point about fuel, these guys can go to about 55, then 80. That gives them a little bit of wiggle room around checkered, green, white, checkered if we need it. That's worth keeping in mind. We expect these guys to make at least 2 more pit stops. They should be good on fuel with that. They should have enough for a green, white, checkered or 2. But then fuel could be tight beyond that. Also, this is, of course, technically an unsponsored race, but this league is not unsponsored. I do want to talk about Bully Dog Coffee Company. We talked about them in the Boosted Safe 150 that we did in their recruitment series at Bristol, and Bully Dog is on all season long as a big full-time partner of this All-American Racing League. You can see their logo top right, Bully Dog Coffee Company. I'll get the link here in a moment, but Bully Dog Coffee Company, founded by Patrick Bowler with nearly 2 decades of experience in the coffee industry. Bully Dog Coffee Company turns the process of making coffee back into a ritual, better supporting your caffeine needs and local dog shelters in central Arizona. Order your first pound of Bully Dog coffee for as little as $15 with promo code FAST10 at checkout today. And I was checking over a lot of their products. They look fantastic. Personally, personally, I do tend to go for energy drinks. Rockstar's my drink of choice. It's what works for me. But if I was a ritualistic coffee drinker, I would be ordering. I got to tell you, we do have a coffee pot. It just doesn't get used very often. Maybe we'll get a bag and try it out soon. But you can find out more about Bully Dog Coffee Company at bullydogcoffeecompany.com. It's very simple, a little bit long drawn out, but it's a very simple URL. bullydogcoffeecompany.com. bullydogcoffeecompany.com. The exact name that you see in the top right of the screen, type that in with a .com at the end. You are at the website. You can order, again, as little as $15 with that code. That, again, is FAST10, all caps, FAST10 at checkout. And that is not only a partnership with the All-American Racing League, it does go to support local dog shelters in central Arizona. And that's really the whole mission, from what I've gathered, behind Bully Dog Coffee Company. Of course, yes, making coffee, but supporting especially pit bulls, but all dogs in dog shelters around that area. And hey, that's a place I used to live, Arizona. I'm from out that way. It's cool to see kind of a local company in that way as we move on here in the iRacing space. And with that said, Zach, the top four are back together with some lap cars. You do see some battling deeper in the field, and that is our second group. Justin Young, Michael Alley, Chad Fox, and so on. It seems like they are starting to get a little more active back here.
Just a tad, I'll say. A little bit more active. 3 cars up on the top line, and 4 cars make it 5 down on the bottom. And we've got this pack, what, 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds in separation from the lead group, and I really think that these guys just need to get single file. I think they all need to get single file and go up there and get those guys, especially with coming to green flag pit stops. It's gonna make more sense. I'm hearing, if I'm not mistaken, I'm hearing a lot of these guys talking about side drafting just to make ground on the top side. There's no point in doing it right now. You gotta fall in line. You gotta get single file.
Well, I think what that might be, depends on who's talking about it. It might be, well, pit stops here out of the dirt poor guys. This is early. This I would not be doing this. This is gonna hurt them. Well, they came in a little bit early last time. I wonder how they're managing fuel, but this is right on the edge, man. Right at lap 50. That has me worried if we have green, white checkers. Of course, if we have a caution to prompt one, you know, they can get fuel, they'll just lose track position, and that has me a little bit concerned for them, Zach. But, you know, to the point of side drafting, while they were, that can help a group go faster depending on the car. Each car in iRacing is a little bit different in that way. Sometimes they actually can go faster in a pack that's side by side versus a line of cars that is all single file. But it's a moot point now. They've pitted, and the leaders have stayed out a little bit longer. I think you've got to try and hit 26 laps if you can. And I wonder if any of these guys are listening. Keep it in 5th gear in the draft. Lift a little bit. Save all you can. Get those extra couple of laps.
Remind me of the fuel number again.
About 25. And that's rough. I mean, it's 24.7 as the leaders are trying to pit as they come up on a lap car here. This is craziness. Into the pit lane. One car locks up. But Bender, Allison, Echapara, they all come in. Foot as well. This whole lead group has just pitted on lap 52. So the number was about 25, 24.7, about 25, you know, give or take. And that was based on just 38 times 65%, as these guys are getting crazy here for what is now the lead, as Adam Ramsey and Chad Fox are now your 2 leaders currently.
If I'm doing my math correctly, any pit stops then after lap 51 would be beneficial in setting you up in case there was one attempt at a green-white checkered. Whoa, that was close right there. That was really close. Fox on Ramsey right there. Could have been a little bit more than just a little bit of contact as you see them ducking into pit road. Big sends on the brakes for these guys. And they slide on into the pit lane.
So pitting on 50, 51, 52, it's a little bit too close in my opinion. I think you want extra laps if you can get them. And these guys, Casey Gross, Douglas Scalise, Elijah Mopin, I think they are in a much better spot right now. They have probably 1, maybe 2 more laps of fuel in some cases. And they're going to be a little better set up in case we have green, white, checkered to be able to stay out at that point in time and save track position. Maybe you still come in, get a splash, but then you're at least in the pit lane for less time than somebody who needs a little more fuel to make sure they have it for all 3 green, white, checkers if we get to that kind of point. So I like having more fuel in the tank if possible. It's hard to say what's right or wrong until it all plays out.
There's always the matter of just sitting in the draft and saving if you don't have enough. I think you can save a couple of laps over the course of a run, as long as you're hanging in the draft and being patient as the rest of the lead pack takes down to the pit lane. Still, again, no black flags. Actually, we have 1 black flag. This is the 00 of Lloyd Moore.
Oh, man, and he's just pulled into his box, too. Lloyd, or he's pulling into his box anyways. Lloyd, he'll find his box. There we go, out of Dixmont, Maine. I believe one of the older drivers here in the series just did not get into the pit lane the way he wanted, it sounds like. That is unfortunate. I know up in Maine they just got some snow recently after we got our ice storm here in North Carolina, so they have been digging out. Used to live up that way. I wonder exactly where Dixmont is, but I used to live up that way, and I miss Maine very much. It feels like Maine is always about 15, 20 years behind the rest of the world in the best of ways. It's a time capsule, I feel like. But here we go. Leaders are back on the racetrack and kind of, for the most part, cycled out. I wondered why I recognized the name Dixmont, Zach. That is right in my alley of where I used to live in Maine. Anyways, I digress.
One might say he's a Maine man.
Well,
It's a joke. It was a joke. Made man, Maine man.
We'll let you off with you being tired. Anyways, lap 56 here. We're about cycled out. The top 4 back together, and they are 9 seconds ahead of Adam Ramsey in 5th place. So if we do go green, this is unquestionably a race between these 4 drivers. If we get a caution, everything changes.
Big emphasis on if. This is how single file we are. I mean, realistically, there's no moves to be made at the moment. You've got...
Well, we said that.
This front group, well...
We say that, but think back to the 51 of the 2 car out of turn 4.
Yeah.
Even the 92 into turn 3. I mean, anything can happen.
Got 1 car moving up to the top line right there. Gonna fall back in, probably about as quick as going up there. But I mean, look at the field so far. You've got the front 4 with a few lap cars out in front. Then 10 seconds on back, you've got Ramsey, who is leading over Allie, Young, Fox, and then what is it? Another 15 seconds behind them. You've got Gross and Scalise, who are just chilling. They're just chilling. Everybody's just chilling right now. We're rolling through single file here at Daytona, and we've got half the field lapped down. I mean, things are really kind of taking shape.
Again, this is a very odd Daytona race. I can tell you, I think with decent certainty, that if you are not one of the top 4, you're probably screaming for a caution. And you probably have been for 20 laps or so. You want a caution. You want a yellow at some point. Maybe not right this second, but certainly at some point soon, to reset this race, give you a chance to get back into it as Echapara goes backwards. That moves Allison to the 7 up. The 18 of White, I believe it is, picks up the 88 as the 8 of Reddick goes another lap down. Echapara and White making some time on the top lane. Oh. White just about turned the 88 right there, and he backed off really quickly.
No, this might be a little bit too much right now. Pushing in the corners gets dicey. That was a little bit of contact right there.
I can tell you the one thing these 4 drivers do not need to be doing that are leading this race is this. And of course, White, he's a lap down, so it would benefit him to have a caution. It would certainly not benefit him, though, to be the caution. But if you are Bender, Allison, Echapara, or Foot, you don't want this. You want to stay single file and just log laps, so I don't know why the 88 is moving around personally. I mean, they all have their own agenda. They're the ones with the steering wheels. But personally, I think it would be much better right now to just ride in line and get to the end of this race. You'll be good on fuel, especially if it goes green. You don't need to lead all these laps. That said, there he goes. The race lead, Chris Echapara out of Mesa, Arizona. Gets right on ahead with the help of the 18 of Brian White.
Who wants to lead at Daytona? At least right now.
You certainly always want to lead if you can, but I don't know that it's a necessity currently. But hey, the 88 got there. It worked out. Moot point. 40 laps to go. And the 8 jumps out of line. That's Reddick in the 8 car. You see the second group way back there. That's going to be Adam Ramsey, Michael Alley, Justin Young, all these guys. This is the second group, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And then you've got Casey Gross and Doug Scalise back here. They are way off the leaders. 27, 28 seconds off the leaders. There's Scalise in the number 16 out of West Hampton, New Jersey. He's got Billy Dog Coffee Company on the side of his race car. With, let's see, Casey Gross is ahead in 9th. That's the 77 car. And then Gregory Van Nice is back here from Jacksonville, Florida. He's got the Navy colors, I believe Blue Angels colors, on the side of his number 24 out of Jacksonville. He runs 11th. Elijah Mopin is back here in 12th out of Irwin, Tennessee. Kevin Bullock out of Elizabethton, Tennessee is back in 13th. And the final car on the lead lap right now is the 29 out of Essexville, Michigan. That's Robert Hissong in 14th spot out of a 29 car field. So while everybody is still running here on lap 62 of 100, Zach, just over half of them are a lap down with how this race has unfolded to this point. That is, again, not at all how I expected this race to go.
Honestly, I'm right there with you. I was not expecting this. They are, well, I guess locked in the moment, just kind of rolling. I mean, there's not much to do, really, other than stay single file. If you want to go catch the lead pack, you're going to have to stay single file and time those pushes. They just continue to lose, though. I feel like they're just going to keep going backwards. That second pack, that is, about 10.5 seconds. They're gaining a little bit, but you never know. Things could change in an instant.
Well, if you like what you're seeing here this morning, we certainly invite you to follow along with everything Pit Stop TV, and let's take a look at what's upcoming the next little bit. We're working on something possibly for tomorrow. Stay tuned. That'd be Monday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day. But what's officially scheduled, at least, looks like this. This Tuesday, the beginning of the chase for the VRB Sundance Pro Series at Michigan International Speedway. Post-season racing, if you will. I struggle with calling it post-season because it's technically still part of the season. But regular season, post-season, I get it. It's technically more or less the playoffs, but it is the chase for the BRB Sundance Championship, and I'm excited to see how things go this coming Tuesday to kick off the chase. We have our own kind of team over there in the Sundance Pro Series with Whiplash Racing, and 2 drivers on the team are in the chase So it'll be cool to see how they do alongside all of the other stars and cars of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Then Thursday, we're still in this kind of doubleheader formation with North American Racing League and Sim Auto Racing Association. There is a caution. We'll take a look in just a moment, but there you see the 3 broadcasts currently scheduled coming up for the channel, and this caution will change everything. Jonathan Reddick in the pit lane. I believe the caution is going to be this guy, Chris Perry. It is. Boy, Jeff Bodine of the iRacing Pace Car is digging. See all the damage to Chris Perry's machine. Even here, Zach, you can tell he's steering quite a lot to try and get it to go straight.
Looking around, there's no pit for repair flags, no meatball flags at all, so it looks like it's all damage that should be fixable.
The 45 right behind is Mark Helsel. Just hooked him. Just pushed too much and hooked him. And this is why I was saying a little bit ago, we've already seen a couple of instances of guys getting a little too aggressive, doing something they didn't need to do, and causing a moment at least. Helsel just was all over his bumper. And technically, Zach, you could apply push the pusher, don't push the pusher here, because the 34 would have been the pusher to the 66 ahead. He was giving room at the time, and boy, the 45 gave no room. He got to the bumper right there and locked and did not get off of the 34 until he hooked him.
I've said it time and time again, don't push the pusher. And now we have a caution on the racetrack because of it. It's a tale as old as time, in my opinion. But now that the caution is out, leaders should be pitting, and you could be risky and stay out, take a wave around, get a lap back, try to put yourself in a bit of a better position, even though we're about halfway into a fuel run right now. So this caution kind of came out at a really awkward time for a lot of guys.
I want to go back and watch the onboard here of Helsel one more time. So you can listen, you can hear the engine. He gets to that bumper, he's offset. Here he should be lifting, he stays in it, gets him more offset, and then stays in it again, and ends up hooking the 34. And unfortunately, that's likely going to be Perry's day. I don't think he really comes back from this in any meaningful way. But we do have cars exiting back onto the racetrack from pit lane. Michael Alley will lead them. Mark Bender, Clifford Allison, your top 3. Chris Echapara. Let's see, is he in Discord? Oh, he is. We're going to dial him up. We're going to find out, Zach, once and for all, how to pronounce his last name the right way. And see what he's got to say so far from number 88. Let's move him on in, driver of the number 88. And Chris, you know, I'm not going to lie. I took to Google mid-race to try to confirm pronunciation on the last name, but I want to hear it from you. I want to hear exactly how your last name should be pronounced.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's Echapar, so it's Ech and A par, so Echapar.
Okay, so we had it out of the gate, Zach. That's good. Google actually led us astray. But Chris Echapar, you had a bunch of laps led out front this morning already. We should saying this evening if you can't tell, but this morning already, a bunch of laps out front. I want to know, though, exactly when did you wake up and how many cups of coffee have you had to be awake? Because it's, what, 8:30? Well, I guess 9 o'clock for you right now?
Well, I'm on the East Coast, so it's about, I don't know, 11. I don't know what time it is. I haven't checked. Woke up at 5 o'clock this morning and no coffee, you know, all just raw it, you know.
Okay, we saw Mesa, Arizona on the sign-in sheet. Is that a hometown now?
Yeah, Mesa, Arizona's hometown. I'm currently living in Rhode Island.
Okay, well there you go. Well, I'm from out that way in Arizona. I guess mountain time can stick together here. But what's the outlook here? I mean, you're gonna restart fourth. The whole field was back together. The whole last 60 laps out the window. What's the game plan?
Well, I'm lucky I have a teammate behind me, number 24, Christopher. We've been kind of sticking together the whole race and see what happens. And yeah, we're just hoping to stick together towards the end and continue with our strategy.
Chris Echapar trying to stay towards the front and see what he can do here. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
We'll get him moved back up to his team chat there. He is in a team chat with Christopher Foote in the 21, Gregory Van Nice in the 24, and Justin Lanier in the 25. So based on that, Zach, he does have that teammate right behind him in the 21, though, and that would be that pink and black Chevrolet of Christopher Foote. It's interesting. Google led us astray for one, Zach. I'm sure there's a like proper pronunciation that would go with Etchapara, but Etchapar. It rolls off the tongue a little better.
Won't lie to you, I kind of figured Google would lead astray at that point. I know Google Translate comes in handy a lot, and pronunciation for words can come in handy, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Google doesn't necessarily get things right half the time.
Be surprised. It's a powerful tool, but here we go. Towards the restart zone here. Let's watch on from the fan cam. This will be a set of nice views here as Ali just slowed the whole field down. That is not something you want to do. Now he's rolling fast. It is not how you want to do that. But we are going to go back green. Lap 69 underway. And down the Daytona super stretch. Just the second restart here today. Up through the gears. Etchapar's got the race lead. Ali falls into second. Foote tried to get clear, didn't happen.
Ali actually has a black flag. Not sure what for.
I wonder if it's admin handed down maybe. I mean, he did not maintain pace.
Definitely not admin handed down. I want to say it's jumping the restart, but he went in the box. He didn't maintain pace, actually, because apparently he restarted in third gear. That's probably where a little bit of that came from.
Let's go back a little bit. This is going to be the run. Don't mind the rewind here. So this is... Let's go back slightly farther. Watch it from here. You'll be able to watch the dash a little bit. It's revving down. He's in third gear. It's the motor's slowing. Picks up a little bit. Yeah, it really disjointed the field. Here's a look at it from TV camera. He slows way down, bunches the field up. I don't know if that's just being new to iRacing still, but you can see he gets going, it spreads the whole field out. Doesn't iRacing have a set of rules around these restarts that you have to maintain a certain pace?
I want to say so, but in terms of the restart rules, mainly it's just don't go faster than pace speed, don't pass the pace car. It's kind of an interesting precedent here, to be perfectly honest, because I don't know specifically what iRacing dictates in that regard, other than just don't pass the pace car, hold pace speed, don't jump the restart. That's about it.
Well, we'll leave it for admins to figure out later on. It was definitely an odd one. I wonder if maybe he was trying to slow down to get the engine to pop down into second. I mean, I'm not really sure, but regardless, the field has strung out already as a result of that. So just like earlier in the day, right away we get these guys all strung along into a couple of different groups. This lead group, though, has about 12 cars in it. So a little bit stronger than we've seen for most of the morning. And these guys are starting to make some moves. They are moving around a whole lot more than they were earlier. Here's on board with Doug Scalise in the 9th spot. He takes that spot away from Justin Young.
We want to talk about making moves. We got a lot of cars on the... Not on, but we got a lot of cars one lap down. and they're all fighting for the free pass position. I think we have a total of, what, 9 cars? 8 cars that are fighting for that free pass position. Hansel leading that with Adams, the next one down on the running order. And they're in 2 separate packs. Up here, you've got
Helsel.
Mark Hansel. Mark Helsel is leading the charge right now for the free pass position. And then in the second pack, second in line, you'll find Austin Adams in the 27 car. And then Justin Lanier, a bit further down, he is third in line for the free pass position. Chris Fauner, he's fourth in line for that free pass position. Then there's still 4 more cars. Matt Opplinger in that 82 car. And most of these guys are all in the same pack. Zach King, Tony Krieger in that number 19 car. And then Ricky Langton in the number 1 car. And then that should be, that's the last car, 1 lap down. Everybody else is 2 laps down.
Or 4 in the case of Jonathan Reddick.
Jonathan Reddick is 4 laps down.
That's what I said.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Sorry, I got race. I have racing radio overlay as well, so there is a bit of a disconnect sometimes that you can place blame on not it just being the morning. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, man. I'm here.
Well, I know that we're coming up on 25 laps to go, and we know from earlier a fuel run is about 25 laps, 26 maybe, 24 maybe. So once they pass this point, the pit window is completely open to anything you want to do for the next 10 laps, 15 laps even. As Bender slows down in that 33, a big gap just built up in that bottom lane. So the pit window has just opened up. These guys can come in, get their fuel whenever they need to. I would imagine, most of these guys took 4 tires on the most recent caution. So we should see them take fuel only when they do come in, maybe 2 in fuel, depending on how they play their cards. Regardless, 1 more pit stop on the way for all of these drivers, whether it's during green flag or caution, depending on how the rest of this race goes. And while there it is, there's Bender, big crash. No caution yet, there it is.
And Reddick just slammed on the bottom. Oh my goodness, all of these cars rolling into the wreck. What
Chaos.
are we doing?
Chaos, chaos, chaos. Powell is still stopped down here, trying to get back going. He will try to do so.
Does a little burnout.
Saw 1 more car slow. That is going to be... Oh, wow, Mopin. Oh, my gosh. A lot of damage.
That car is destroyed. Missed the box right there. Chad Fox rolls it in.
Adam Ramsey's got a bunch of damage.
Austin Adams is going to get the free pass out of all of this.
Ramsey's reversing down the pit lane, trying to, I think, get a run into his box now.
He's stuck.
That'll do it. Let's go back and see what happened. The 33 seemed to be where things started. That was Mark Bender. So he's ahead of the 66. That is Maupin, I'm not really sure. The 97, the Palm Tree Floral Toyota is involved. He's just behind this. So Foot gets into, chain reaction. Foot gets into Bender. The 97 of Ramsey gets into Foot. That was just a chain reaction. And then cars came in from way behind and slammed in. Oh my gosh. From the fan cam here, see some wider views to see all the chaos that just happened down in turns 3 and 4. Some slams into the wall, and then you see from afar that other pack comes in, and then the other pack comes in even. I mean, you've got to lift. Got to be on the brakes. You got to do more than lifting, honestly. And a couple of those guys, I think, were just a little bit late. Maybe didn't realize just how bad the crash was. I'm not really sure. But man, a couple of those guys came in from way back.
pretty big send, I'll say.
I mean, from this though, to start the crash, it's just a chain reaction. That's all that is. A chain reaction that happens in speedway racing really, really easily. 2 and 12 or 20 and 12 took big hits. Here comes the 8 into it, and the 00 comes flying in.
Oh, gets into the back of the 18. I mean, at some point, there's got to be some checkups here. In my honest opinion, this is on board with the 01 of Kevin Bullock. I mean, you can see everyone jumping out of the gas, and it's like we're just staying in it a little bit more. I mean, great job to Bullock. He didn't hit anybody, and to be perfectly honest, I feel like that constitutes a Murtis Esports, Murtis Mega Miss moment of the day, but still, you gotta check up.
You know, that replay for the 01 of Bullock brings a line out of Toy Story to mind. I've got a 3-year-old. He loves Toy Story. It's not flying, it's falling with style. That wasn't avoiding a crash, it was crashing with style. That was really cool, honestly. When you go back to the replay, that was fun to watch for us. I would not have wanted to be Bullock going through that. He did get into the back of the 82 there of Opplinger and then kind of slid on through, but he missed the rest of it, to his credit. He just slid through, and there were a lot of sparks and smoke in the process. Everybody has pitted under this caution, aside from Austin Adams, who might be doing so here in a moment. He took the free pass. I do hope he pits for his own sake, but it looks like he's not going to. He's not going to have enough fuel to go to the end.
Well, that's going to be detrimental, especially when you've got cars that are 1 lap down out here trying to fight for a free pass position. Justin Lanier takes over leading that free pass position with Ricky Langton Jr. right behind him and Zach King in that mix as well. Chris Fauner, Mark Helsel, Tony Krieger. I mean, they're all they're in it, still here for it. Well, a few of them are. Some of them are currently off track after being involved in that incident, but there is still the race for the free pass position should we have another caution, and we're going to go green with 21 laps to go, so there is not a lot of time left in this race to make something happen. 20 laps can be a long time at Daytona, but in the grand scheme of things, you're getting down to that home stretch.
And again, if you just pitted, you're good to the end. If you did not pit, so if you're Adams, you're not good to the end. So Austin Adams will need to pit again for fuel at some point. But everybody else is going to be good to the end on fuel so long as they just pitted and took a full tank of fuel. I guess Corey Powell, technically, he did not pit either, so he will need fuel. But everybody else, if they pitted, they're good. Back to the restart zone this time, arguing over a couple of spots back there. They'll get it sorted out, I think, by the time the green flag flies, as we're going to have 21 laps to go. Green flag is out once again here at Daytona. And at the end of the Daytona Super Stretch, of course, is turn number 3. This is the most active we've seen the field in turn 3 all race. Side by side, here we come, back around into the tri-oval. We've got ourselves a race, Zach, 20 to go.
We already had a race, that's why we're here.
We've got ourselves a much more exciting race.
I was just pulling your leg. Up top, Allison in the 7. Getting the push on by from Bender. Look right behind. There's Zach King trying to get his lap back the hard way once again. And he's going to take that top line and move it forward. Ducks in as the third car in line on the bottom. Not third on the racetrack, but third in line as that top line breaks up a tad. There's some holes on the bottom, trying to see if they can be plugged, but for right now, it's 4-5 car breakaway up at the front of the field.
$19 laps to go. Clicking off one by one. Zach King, that 51 car, first car 1 lap down. He's trying to get ahead of these guys, or at least stay towards the front in case of another caution. Adams and Powell, they need one. Everybody else good on fuel to the end as they race down the Daytona Superstretch here. 18.5 laps to go, just counting them down. Single file now mostly, though. It's interesting how quickly this field has been getting single file. When they do get side-by-side racing, finally for the win here, they're not going to have many side-by-side laps under their belts. As a field, any of these guys, they are going to be a little bit rusty when they do get side-by-side. I expect whenever these guys do truly get to racing fender to fender again, we may see a crash. It may be the big one.
Yeah, first car on the top side was Zach King back there. Still is trying to find a way to move forward and keep that free pass position. He is currently the first car 1 lap down. He's got Lanier pulling up right behind him to give him that push. There you see it from the digger cam, as it used to be called on NASCAR on Fox. I do miss those days, but single file mostly now throughout the field. King's still up top, trying to make some hay. I respect the call to go up top to try and fight for your lap back, but at the same time, we're nearing the end of the race. Maybe just ride. Maybe see if someone wants to have a little bit of a late race incident, because you never know what could happen. When you're by yourself on the top side, you open yourself up to be passed for that free pass position, which might end up happening here. But like you're talking about single file, Andrew, and I mean, we're starting to get into that territory of thinking about NARL driver of the day.
We are. I had 15 to go in mind, so we're coming right up on it. Got it typed out over on YouTube, ready to go. I just heard somebody crunch a motor. I think Chad Fox might have let his engine expire in the pit lane. He's been in the pits for a while now, about 10 minutes, as the field races by to take 16 laps to go. So we can go ahead and start thinking about it here, Zach, as Echapar moves up. He's one to consider, I think, for sure. He's trying to go forward again with foot behind. Zach, if you're itching, if you're chomping at the bit, let's see who you got.
I'm sorry, say that again?
If you're itching, if you're chomping at the bit, let's see who you got. Oh, King!
No!
What? They're gonna crash. There they go, in the wall.
Oh, no. We saw it happen real time, Andrew.
We did.
Caution is out.
That's unfortunate.
Justin Lanier fighting for that free pass position. Now he's into the pit lane.
From overhead, we saw it happen there. You see the 51 just forcing the issue. That gets the 18 into the 21. The 25 shoots the gap in the middle. The 24 takes a big hit. Oh my gosh. A lot of big hits in this. I told you, whenever they did get to racing side by side, we were going to see some big hits. Watching the 25. We'll see how it started again here in a second, but he shoots the gap right into the 18 and 24. 34 gets involved again. That's Perry. And there were several others. So this is a little bit too late, actually. Let's go further back. I'm going to be a little bit critical here. Going to, well, I'm going to be a little bit critical. The 51 has to run. He's a lap down. He's trying to get his lap back. That is not how you self-preserve to get a lap back. There was no gap between the 18 and 21. He shot there trying to force something that was never there. And I'm gonna be so critical. I'm gonna be so critical because we know Zach King, and that just was not risk management right there. That was really, really risky, and exactly what could have happened is what happened. That was just not befitting to the circumstance, and unfortunately, you see these guys get 4 wide stacked up together. The 2, great miss there, but most of the field behind that heavily involved. Adams involved. Remember, he just got the lucky dog. He was trying to get back into it. The 18 had a big piece of that. The 19 as well. That again is one that just did not need to occur.
Oh boy. See on board Brian White.
Nothing he could have done. Everything happened around him, though. Thought a few cars came in late just to see what was going on, and what did they get of you? Here it is from Ricky Langton's perspective in the turns 3 and 4. He gets down here, tries to start navigating all of this, and boy, that might be our largest crash of the morning so far. But hey, this puts us down inside of 15 to go, nearly down to 10 to go, Zach, and this is that range that we were talking about for driver of the day. We were literally about to start talking about it, and then all of that happened. So let's bring up the ticker on the left side of the screen. Let's bring up positions gained again and see where these guys are. I got to point out Gross. He's up 25 spots. Well, who you got here for driver of the day?
It's going to be a tough pick. I always find super speedways tough to really pick driver of the day.
Fair.
Just because it could change in an instant, and these guys are always rolling around. I will say, big number that stands out to me, 25 positions gained for the 77 car of Casey Gross. I think that's a really good pick to have right now. He is up from the 28th starting spot. That's a lot of positions gained, especially with leading a lap, pulling himself from the rear. That's a great one to go with. And then Echapar, I think it's another one to take a look at here. He's been out in front majority with that Junior Motorsports throwback from when Brad Keselowski took his time in the Nationwide Series in the 88 car, and some fun memories watching races with that car on the screen. But great to see that he has been running really good. He's led 31 laps on the day too. I think those have got to be some 2 solid picks rolling in to the last 12 laps.
I'm going to fall back here to the 66 car and grab Elijah Mopin because he is up a handful of spots. I mean, from 20 spots from 20th to 9th right now. So he started, well, last. And he's been involved in an incident or two, but they weren't his doing. And he is back in the top 10 with just over 10 to go. I like his chances just on the fact that he's survived this long. And that's hard to do when you're involved in a crash or two here at Daytona. But he has continued to survive. I want to go to laps led. Echapar's got 31. Bender's got 18. Alley's got 22. I'll tell you what, we're about to go greens. I will save my second pick for once we get back green, and then we'll get that poll going in just a moment. But that's an insight into us picking for driver of the day. But here the leaders go into the restart zone. Green flag back on the way. 12 laps to go when they get it. down the Daytona super stretch at least once more. We'll have 11 to go, this time by single file for your top 5. Allison, Gross, Bender, Alley, Rovillo. You know what, Zach, that's my other pick. Rovillo, he was a lap down at one point. He was as low as last place in this race. I'm going to go ahead and take Michael Rovillo. He is back up here. He has come back from the back and has a chance now to win here at Daytona to kick off the season for 2026 in the All-American Racing League. We'll get that poll going over on YouTube in just a moment. This is going to be exciting.
One car poking out. That's Bender. He swaps up to the top line. Echapar almost gets forced out back there by the 2-car Rivolo. But we're starting to see that top line really pushing itself forward. Side drafting is the 7 of Allison. Gonna pull the bottom back in front. 3 wide. Into the sucker spot goes Bender.
Echapar went around the outside. It got him by the 33, but didn't get him much farther. Allison leads that lap 3 wide in the middle of the pack. Bullock shoots the gap and keeps the 75 of Hughes outside. Bender now on the back bumper of Echapar. Echapar just hung him out to dry. Now Bender's pushing him up the racetrack. Oh, Echapar on the wall. This could be a big one. Watch out. 3 cars stacked up in the outside wall. The 88 almost over. The 29 now involved. Caution is out. And that was the 01 of Bullock. Oh, the 92 is in it again. Bender was in that. His song. And we are now lined up for even more chaos.
Chris Echapar with a meatball flag. Tony Krieger. Chad Fox.
You saw a bit of it there. Oh my gosh, and the 88 just stayed on top of the 01 for so long. The 19, 92, 29, 33. See another view of it here. The 33 is just all over the back bumper of the 88. The 2 comes up into him, and that gets the 88 up the racetrack, and the 33 just never got off of his bumper.
You know, I've talked about it with that 88 car of Echapar looking like the Brad Keselowski throwback from Junior Motorsports when he had his time there in the Nationwide Series. That reminds me of just based on how that wreck happened. What was it? When he got on his driver's side door at Gateway, rode the wall, I think it was.
Yeah, really early on in his career, yep.
It's just so similar in a way.
They continued going on for a while. Bullock just did not get out of it until much later on when they got into Powell there.
It's just some big damage for a lot of these guys. A lot of fast guys that were running up at the front. That's going to allow Zachary King to get the free pass on this latest caution flag.
We'll see how the 29 gets in this. He was a little bit behind all of it. Right behind the 01, and then he gets into the 01 of Bullock. Oh, and then Powell shot the gap. Okay.
Oh, Bender came back down off the wall. That's what turned the 29 car around. Kept it off the wall, though.
There's at least a more clear picture painted by that view. And then watch the 92 back here of Powell. He tries to shoot the gap in the middle, gets into the 19, and that's how his crash happens. That was more or less self-inflicted.
I feel like a check up there would have been a better situation, and
oh, there's
a secondary impact right there.
Well, I mean, it happens. I will say, within 10 to go, you're much less likely to lift, but self-preservation.
Drivers are going to do what benefits drivers. That's what I've always said.
It doesn't matter if it's lap 1 or 100, self-preservation. You've got to make sure you get to the checkered flag in order to win or do anything, really. Yeah, it's tough. You have You have an opening in front of you, and like I'm replaying Powell's situation in my mind. You have the opening in front of you. You want to go for it, but when you see smoke, that's danger. that's danger. Watch out.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, I was thinking it. I don't know who actually knows that reference, so I don't say it very often, but I was thinking it. But here we go. We're gonna have 7 to go this time by the flag stand. The number 7 is leading. He's kind of under the radar. I thought about him for driver of the day. Clifford Allison the third. He's very much under the radar for me. 14 laps led here today. This is obviously a very small snapshot of what the rest of the season is going to look like. But boy, this, I don't know, this has been a weird race for sure. Allison will...
The 7 car has been out in front for a good margin now, and field's going to double up here with 7 laps to go. 7 car leading, 7 laps to go. 6 laps to go when we take the green flag. But I don't know. We still have a race here. We still have a race. It's going to be interesting. We've got 18 cars on the lead lap. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars 1 lap down. Everybody else just about out of this race, 8 laps down or more. So majority of the field back on the lead lap. Majority of the field still in contention for the race win. Everybody's about good on fuel. Tell you what, Andrew, I'm kind of excited. I do love late race cautions at super speedways, and I love how they set up the intensity.
You know, I was thinking about how this has been kind of a tale of 2 races. You know, the opening portion of this race was very clean. If we look at the race info there on the left side of the screen, 5 cautions for 14 laps. One of those happened right off the green flag, but then we didn't get another one for, what, 60 laps? 70 laps almost? We've had 16 lead changes now, plenty of those to go around, but for a good while, this looked like it could have gone green the entire way, and we were talking about it doing so multiple times. And I really thought it could have. But once these guys got a couple of cautions under their belt, man, they got to racing. And anytime you set up iRacers on Daytona and tell them to go at it, they're going to, but there's going to be a couple of crashes.
That there will be.
But here we go, possibly final restart of the day. Restart zone again for Allison, for Gross, for Alley, for Rovillo, for Young, for White, and everybody else. Green flag, 6 laps to go at Daytona. Who can win? Not a good restart for Allison. You saw the 77 of Gross go right by him, crashing behind Echapar. Again. No caution. There it is. Man, oh man. He just took his fast repair, just got back on the racetrack.
You hate to see it. Hate to see it for Echapar. Had such a good race going. Now it's all going to slip away.
That white 88 on the top lane. They stacked up underneath him, and the 29 just was not clear. Tried to go middle. See it again here. They stack up down low, and the 29 tries to shoot the gap. And just, well, the camera flipped. The blimp just happened to be over turn 1. But certainly an unfortunate situation for these drivers. That's not what you want to have this late in the race, really ever, but certainly when you're 6 laps to go trying to get to the checkered flag, this is not ideal. And boy, Adams took another big hit. I think that'll be the end of Echapar and Adams' days, respectively.
the impact for Adams. Just heavy, heavy blow. And then looking at
You
race
heard
control scoring.
this. Well, real quick, you heard the signature sound of when an engine lets go on iRacing. Just a clank, a crunch. That is just. If you're an iRacer, if you have been for any length of time, you know it. And when you hear that, you know the engine's done. We will have probably at most 3 to go, maybe even a natural green-white checkered here.
I
When do we
believe
go back
we
around?
are setting up for a natural green-white checkered. If I am understanding the laps correctly.
Yeah, so it's 4 to go now. And we're going to have at least 2 more laps of caution because we still have pace car lights on. So we will have, at best, a natural green-white checker to send us back around and try to end this race on a high note. It started off so green flag, so differently what we've seen the last handful of restarts. It's not a bad thing, it's just part of speedway racing, but it definitely is a big detour from what we saw earlier in the day. I want to check in with somebody, though, that is assuming he's in Discord. He is. It's going to be driver number 66. And I want to check in with him because we checked in with the driver that you nominated for driver of the day. I want to check in with the driver I nominated, but also somebody who's been through the roller coaster of emotions already in this race, and we still have a little ways to go, at least one restart, if not more. Elijah, we're dialing you in here, car 66. You've been in just about every position other than the lead. What can you do to get there here on this restart?
All I'll say is I'm planning on taking it a little bit safe here, and just see what the leaders are going to do. But I mean, the last caution, or last restart rather, I felt like I had a pretty good one. If the caution didn't come out, I feel like I maybe would have gotten 2 more spots. But all I can say is 97 100, about green white checkered. Chips are down, all in. I'm just hoping I can bring this 66 40 go boost board home. And yeah, just trying to stay patient, but I mean, it's inside 5 to go. It's go time.
And we've got you on the board, nominated for driver of the day today. First of all, why should someone watching that doesn't know any of these drivers in this league yet, why should they vote for driver 66 in that poll?
Well, if I hate to get a little bit emotional here, but I feel like maybe one good reason is mainly mother. She sadly passed away of breast cancer a couple of years ago. It's why I run pink in the number 66. I just this is why I do this. I do this for her. And I'm hoping that wherever she is, that I'm doing her proud.
I think she'd be proud today. I'm very sorry to hear that, Elijah. And obviously wish you the best of luck, as I think you've got her on your side for sure as we get ready for this potential final restart of the day. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Definitely some emotion on the line there for Elijah as he gets ready for this final restart of the race. Potential final restart. We might have more, Zach. Boy, that hit home a little bit. I've got a couple of family members who have had breast cancer recently. One is going through radiation currently. That tugged on a few heartstrings, Zach, but let's get back in. We've got a natural green-white checkered on the way, and so I want to bring up the MX Wraps overtime rules for a moment, at least to get a visual of what's going on here. This would be the same as if we had a green-white checkered, so if we do have one, it's the same rules. This is in effect because we will restart with 2 to go. 2 laps, a green lap, then a white lap. If we have a caution the first lap, we restart, we try again. But if they get to the white flag at any point, if they complete the green flag lap, the race is official, they race it back at that point, no matter what happens. Let's see what we can do here. It is in effect an overtime restart, but within regulation, green flag is back out at Daytona, 2 to go. Who's gonna win it? Up through the gears, on board with Gross. Race leader on the inside. Allison got a much better restart this time, Zach. Here he is on the outside.
Rolling steady, side drafting hard, though. These lanes are all too bunched together as we roll through 3 and 4. They're 3 wide behind them, back to 2. That was Zach King in the middle. On the bumpers, Andrew, coming to it. It's gonna be official. Maybe, maybe not. They still get sorted out. White flags in the air. 1 lap to go, presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. They're 3 wide, 2 rows deep. They might end up getting involved in something, but right now the front of the field is where the fight is at.
This could be an epic, epic finish here at Daytona. 4 wide in the middle. They're going to crash back there. We're going to stay with the leaders. We'll check in on the crash after. It is a massive one, though, as here we go. Down the backstretch, Allison's got the lead. It's Allison. It's Allie, Rovillo, and Gross. Down the back straightaway, turn number 3, around the final high banks of Daytona. Can Allie get a run? The crash doesn't matter. He's got a teammate behind him. Can Allie get going here? It's going to be a drag race.
He blocks. Goes low.
To the line. Allie down low. He's below the yellow line, but he's going to win. And we'll wait for review. Allie got to the line first. 3/1000ths of a second. But is it official? Will that stand? He went below the double yellow line. How will admins view that?
Oh my goodness.
And the question now becomes, did he get forced?
Well, at least for our sake, we have the beauty of the replay at the moment. But
We do. Let's go back. Let's first see what happened at the finish. Then we'll catch up on the crash. So here's the 7 and 22 drag race back to the line. Boy, what a way to end things at Daytona. A little bit of controversy here. The 22 goes high, then goes low. I would argue he got forced. What's the use, Zach? I mean, he got there. He put the left sides on the double yellow, and then the 7 hit him. Watch it right here.
I mean, he took a good run down there. Yeah, I want to say he got forced, realistically speaking.
It is really, really tough. And so...
Race control, hold on. Race control has just let us know that the 7 forced the 22 below the double yellow line, so the call is going to stand. The race is going to be official.
I think that's the right call. I think that is undoubtedly the right call here. So Michael Alley, from pole position, the newest member to iRacing of this entire league, is going to win at Daytona. Slow-mo to the line here. You see him beating and banging. That's a classic Daytona finish right there, to the stripe. Alley gets the win. Allison has to settle for second. I want to see, though, what happened back further, at least a replay or two of what happened in turns 1 and 2. I believe a 20 of Young was involved. Let's see here. Turn 1, they're 3 wide. It happens really quick right here. The 2 and 18 come down. They just start making contact. I mean, it was just a cluster of cars all trying to get to the finish. Just chaos.
It's a tale as old as time. Last lap at Daytona. It tends to be a interesting situation, we'll say.
See them 4 wide, the 29, 27, 18. I mean, so many cars involved. It's hard to count them all, but there you at least see what happened back there as the leaders were careening down the backstretch trying to get to the checkered flag. Zach King almost got through it all. Let's ride on board with the 51 car here briefly and then come back around and talk to our top 3.
Riding in the middle, 3 wide, the wreck starting. You can only go where you can see a hole, and the hole was there. And he almost made it through. Would have had a top 5 finish, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's right. He came back for a decent finish, 13th. Obviously, these extra spins back here did not help him, but all things considered, when he started the day out with that drive-through penalty, that's not too bad at the end of it. But let's go back and take a look at the unofficial race results when it's all said and done here at Daytona International Speedway. What a day. Again, just a really odd race from the get-go, but Michael Alley will be ruled the winner this morning, afternoon, well, it's not quite noon yet.
Never forget your first win at Daytona.
That's right. 9 minutes away from noon, and Michael Alley is your race winner. We kept it within the morning. Clifford Allison, second place. Michael Rovillo, third. Good to see Rovillo get back up there. He is a contender for driver of the day and the highest finishing contender for driver of the day. So consider that in your votes. Casey Gross comes home fourth. He's on the ballot for driver of the day. Elijah Maupin as well. He finishes fifth. Good to see him still get a top five. He was involved in that crash there at the end. I'm glad he got through it and still finished fifth. Just ahead there of Douglas Scalise. Hey, we didn't see Doug at all, I feel like, Zach. So it's good to see him in the top 10. Same for Tony Krieger. Sean Hughes came back for a top 10. Lloyd Moore got back up there. And Justin Young able to grab a top 10 as well.
Absolutely. Rolling outside the top 10, Chris Fauner ends up in the 11th spot with Brian White right behind him. Zach King, 13th. Kevin Bullock, after getting involved in that incident there with Echapar, finds himself in the 14th position with Mark Bender 15th on the running order. And then that is your last car on the lead lap at that. Rolling into the first car one lap down, that's Robert Hissong in that 16th position, and then number 29. Christopher Foote ends up 17th. Ricky Langton Jr., 18th on the running order. Matt Opplinger, 19th in that number 82 car. And then Mark Helsel, he ends up 20th on the day after getting involved in a number of incidents towards the end of the race. And, you know, you got to feel for a lot of these guys that had good track position, were running good, and just weren't able to capitalize on it.
Working on pinging the drivers for interviews. There we go. Back in 21st this evening, or this, see, I keep doing it. I'm used to saying this evening.
We're used to night broadcasts.
Yeah, this morning.
See,
Corey
I'm
Powell.
not the only one that has this problem then.
No, it's definitely always strange when we sign up for a morning broadcast, but Corey Powell finishes 21st. Chris Echapar, hated it for him. Had a great day going. 22nd, not at all indicative of the race he ran. Austin Adams, 23rd. Gregory Van Nice, all these guys, early exits. Justin Lanier, Chris Perry, Adam Ramsey, Chad Fox, and Jonathan Reddick ultimately dead last this morning in 29th position. We will dial up our top three drivers this morning. I want to keep saying this morning, get myself in a rhythm of it, and then I'll mess myself up for the next nighttime broadcast we have, I'm sure. But we'll bring in our race winner, Michael Alley, who gets it done on the high banks of Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing, and it all belongs to Driver 22 today. Michael, that was not at all the race we expected. What say you, considering you led this field to the green flag and then immediately had a caution?
Yeah, it was a crazy race, as you said. I can't believe I'm on top. It was an amazing race and an amazing ending to it. So yeah.
And of course, anytime you start a race on pole, you certainly have those high hopes, and I think you can have a high hope at Daytona no matter where you start. But what was it like getting ready for the start and then immediately caution, reset, do it all again?
Yeah, that honestly frightened me. Once that caution came out, I kind of fell back, and there was a line that was pushed on the outside, and I fell back pretty hard. But luckily, everything fell into plan, and we got first place. So I'm happy with that.
And you and your team were always in the top 10, it felt like. I mean, you were as low as 24th technically in this race, but it seemed like you guys were always around the top 10 or better. Is that how you guys drew it up, or is it just kind of how it fell into place?
It kind of fell into place, but we were working together very, very well. We got a great team, Chad, Mike, Justin. Man, we're just we're clicking off, and it's going really good. And we practice a lot. We get together good, and got a good crew going.
And a final question for you. I noticed, when I make all these number graphics that go on the broadcast, I make each one, save each one, and they get saved by the driver ID. That's how they get bound to you guys in the overlays. I noticed, weird little things. I like numbers and everything, and I noticed you've got the highest driver ID, indicating you are the newest to iRacing. And here you are, you've just won at Daytona. Does that sweeten it up for you?
That does sweeten the deal for me. I might go buy me a big old steak tonight. I think that's what's going to happen.
A porterhouse.
I deserve it.
A porterhouse on the way, maybe, from Michael Alley. Michael, congratulations. You got a whole Sunday to celebrate. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
I appreciate it. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Bully Dog Race, Coffee, and my great teammates. I appreciate it.
And that is Michael Alley this almost afternoon. 11:57. We're almost there, Zach. But Michael Alley with a big win here at Daytona. Good to talk to him. It does look like we do not have driver number 7 dialed in, but we can look around. Let's see. Who do we got? I don't see the 2. So neither of our other 2 podium finishers are around for interview, from what I can tell, Zach, unless I'm going past them. But we do, who we do have? Well, I'm trying to find somebody we haven't talked to yet. Oh, there's Clifford. Clifford is connected. All right, we can bring him in. Zach, here is driver number 7.
Clifford Allison, just... Man, I don't even know what to say. You lost it by 3 1/1000ths of a second. You were leading, coming to the line. How's it feel walking away second place on the day after almost grabbing the win here at Daytona?
I feel worse for Mark Martin because at least he left off the gas in 07 against Kevin Harvick.
Oh my goodness. Well, you pulled it off in outstanding fashion to get that second position. You led 17 laps on the day. You had a really good race running. You were one of the front runners, and you were able to keep that car clean majority of the day. I almost said night, so I almost got caught up with what Andrew was talking about. But you did a really great job to keep that car in one piece. Do you think this gives you any sort of confidence rolling into the next few races this season, or just starting your season overall really gives you some good confidence rolling into how the season could play out?
Yeah, first started at 22. Didn't mean to use him up, but yeah, it's probably my cleanest race, so that's good. Definitely confidence the rest of the year.
And confidence in spades is what's needed when trying to contend for a championship. Well, congratulations on that second place finish. So hopefully we'll be looking forward to speaking to you more times throughout the season.
Yeah, man, thanks. Talk to you.
Absolutely. Clifford Allison, your second place finisher on the day. And I believe, Andrew, you might have our third place finisher.
We do have him. Rovillo connected just in time, so we can bring in Mike Rovillo in car number 2. And driver 2, you're somebody I noticed when we did driver of the day.
Yeah.
You went all the way to the back, 29th at one point. You were a lap down early on. You got back into this race, got back into the top 10. Here you are, third place. You're our top finishing of the driver of the day contenders, but you're at the bottom of the vote. So how can we pump up those votes? Why should somebody watching who has not yet voted for you vote for driver number 2?
I mean, it was a real struggle fighting to get my lap back. It took me about half the race. I don't know. It was a struggle, but I mean, we got there in the end. That's what really matters. I mean, a lot of people are here to make friends, and I'm just here to win. So.
And you're pretty close. Of course, one of your teammates goes out there and grabs the win. What was it like, though, being in the team chat and working together and everything, and getting Michael Alley ultimately to the race win?
I think it worked out really well for us. We were trying to work our strategy together as best as we could, and it just paid off. I'm glad. I'm happy for Mike, man. Been my teammate since day one, and I was trying to at least push him to the win since I couldn't get it myself. I saw there was a little discrepancy with how he finished, but at the end of the day, I think I pushed him a little too hard there and below the double yellow potentially, but they called it a win still.
And of course, this is just the first race of 36 on the calendar this season. A long haul. Have you done a season like this before?
No, I haven't. I don't think actually anyone on our team has, except for maybe Justin. But we're a lot of rookie guys, so.
So looking forward to a season like this, all the different tracks of the NASCAR schedule, minus I think a road course or two, but all these different tracks, all these different weeks to race. I mean, there's a few off weeks in there, but it's a long haul through the year. What's the attitude like from you guys? Do you want to try and take it kind of low and slow? Do you want to come out as quickly as you can? Obviously, the team has a win right now, but we're going straight to Atlanta next, and then Dover and everything else.
Yeah, I think our original intention for today's race was to kind of hang back and see how the rest of the group does. But Mike had an amazing qualifying time, and so we just rolled with it. And like you saw, I had to push all the way to the back from the very start with a lap down. I had some latency issues at the beginning of the race that I ended up resolving. But we're not sure yet. We may push hard for the whole season. We may go easy on some races. I know I'm not a huge road course guy, but I think Mike, my teammate Mike, might actually he might dominate the road courses this year, and it's what I'm hoping at least.
A long ways to go through 2026. Mike, good to talk to you. Congratulations on the top 3, especially after how the day started. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Mike Ravillo with the top 3 at the end of the day. Here's Zach, and I think there's a lot of high notes for sure. For the league as a whole, I know there's a little bit of frustration out there for some drivers. I know there's definitely some things to work on for the rest of the season, but this is just race number 1. This is a league that, as far as I can tell, got drummed up over the winter, and Doug Scalos had a vision. Now it's happening. It's reality. They've got a race under their belt, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how these guys roll through the rest of the season. There's so much good stuff coming up. I'm really excited to see how they tackle tracks like Atlanta, Dover, North Wilkesboro. I think we're going to be in for some really good stuff. I'm excited for how they tackle their first road course of the season, which is going to be Watkins Glen. And I mean, they've got some good races on here. I know that with the move away from road courses going into this season from the NASCAR Cup Series side has shifted the feel of people who enjoy that kind of racing. So we see a lot more ovals taking over certain things like this, and it's still really nice to see. There's some great races on here and some great potential for some fun fun races, I'll say. I don't know where I was going with that for a second.
I'm a big road course fan. I enjoy them. I wish we had COTA early this season, but we'll see if maybe we can convince Doug to swap a race out somewhere. I don't know. But I will say, on this schedule, we have this graphic, and I do think we plan to do more broadcasts this season. It's a little bit to be determined, so we are not entirely sure there is. I will say, this schedule graphic does not show dates. There is a week off before Atlanta, so there's a little bit of time for things to get ironed out. It sounds like another broadcast partner that was lined up for the league backed out. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that they're working on it. I know Doug is working on things, and I would say, I think safely, if you want to get involved and help secure broadcasts through funding, I think you can certainly get in contact with Doug, and he can kind of steer you the right direction as to how to accomplish that. So if there is anybody out there watching that is interested in doing so, I do believe that is certainly a possibility. Just get in contact with Douglas Scalos in Discord, and I believe that can be figured out. I'm not entirely privy to all of that. We just kind of show up and do the broadcast. So we're glad to be here. I want to thank Doug for having us here, along with Bully Dog Coffee Company for having us here. It has been a pleasure today, and we hope to do many more of this 2026 season. It's a little bit all in the air right now. We will figure it out, I'm very sure, very soon. But for right now, that is it for us here today at Daytona. As I mentioned earlier, we're working on a few things in the pipeline, but for right now, these are the next 3 scheduled broadcasts, Zach. And boy, what a 3 we've got. We've got the BRB Sundance Pro Series with the ARCA cars headed out to Michigan this Tuesday, and then the doubleheader on Thursday, February the 5th, with GT3s at Spa and super late models at New Smyrna. A bunch of great racing coming up.
Absolutely, and so many great places to follow along with all the racing action. Pitstoptv.com, Facebook.com/PitstopTV, Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, TikTok.com/PitstopTV1, Twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, YouTube.com/PitstopTV1, and X.com/PitstopTV_. There is so much great racing going on. I'm super excited to kick off the Chase and the BRB Pro Series. You've got Whiplash Racing with 2 cars in. You've got Next Level with 2 of their cars in. You've got Maverick Motorsports with, I believe, 3 cars into the Chase, with Carl Pooler just making it most recently. And there's so much intensity going into Tuesday. NARL and Pierce Fleet Super Series for Sarah. 2 great series that we've got right here on Pit Stop TV. Super excited for Spa. I know we've got a couple of the BRB guys that are contending in the North American Racing League now, and then we're getting closer and closer to crowning a champion over there in Sarah.
That we are. A lot coming up across the channel the next couple of months, really, and moving on through 2026. So stay tuned for what is to behold here on Pit Stop TV. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Before we go anywhere, we do need to crown today's North American Racing League Driver of the Day. I'm not going to ask for a drum roll, but Zach, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It is going to be, let me select his name on the graphic here. It is going to be Chris Echapar. Unfortunately, ended the race in the pit lane, crashed. There you see him. But I gotta say, what a race he drove. I believe had the most laps led, or close to it at least. 31 in the lead this morning in that number 88 Chevrolet. I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of the season. And if this translates to other racetracks, I know obviously it's Daytona. Just because you run well at Daytona does not mean anything for anywhere else on the schedule, except for maybe Atlanta and Talladega these days. But I am excited to see how Echapar and all of these guys do when we hit some other racetracks and other types of racetracks later this season. But a big congratulations to Chris Echapar winning today's North American Racing League Driver of the Day vote. That will do it for us this morning. I guess now technically afternoon, here on a Sunday at 12:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for joining us. It has been a pleasure as always. A big thank you goes out to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash SimCams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. And certainly a big thank you this morning, afternoon, and this whole season to Bully Dog Coffee Company. I just watched a bunch of snow go sliding off my roof, and that scared me. Anyways, Bully Dog Coffee Company, founded by Patrick Bowler with nearly 2 decades of experience in the coffee industry. They turn the process of making coffee back into a ritual, better supporting your caffeine needs, and local dog shelters in central Arizona in the process. Order your first pound of Bully Dog Coffee for as little as $15 with promo code FAST10 at checkout today. That's promo code FAST10, FAST10, FAST10 at checkout. You get your first pound of Bully Dog Coffee for as little as $15. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. We'll catch you next time here at Pit Stop TV, hopefully for the BRB Sundance Pro Series on Tuesday at Michigan. We'll see you then. Lasny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth. Able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead. It's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time. Lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway. Ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying